Welcome to this week's live chat. This week I am going to be talking about the podcast I did on Christmas. Hi Val, pop a comment in if you're here. I can see you on the phone. Hi. So this week I'm talking about all the energy that we have pent up around Christmas. Oh, and this is a good card. So we've got manifestation tonight. So it literally is the power is in our hand. And often we forget this. We think about all the energy that's went before. We think about stuff that's already happened. And we forget to think about we can actually create that new future. So perfect card for tonight. Val, did you manage to listen to the podcast yet? Or is it all new for you tonight and what we're going to talk about? Let me know. And I'll just give people a second to get on. So for me, with Christmas, it's always been, since probably quite a good few years, I always had this energy built up around Christmas because when I was married, things were tight. Things were tight with money. Things were really, really hard. Hiya, Casey. And I just always went into Christmas thinking it's going to be hard, I'm not going to have enough money, and I had all these expectations on it. So we'll be talking about what you have expectations on. So it might be money, it might be family, it could be all sorts. So how do you feel about Christmas? Do you get excited, or is there parts of it that you dread? Val's saying, yeah, just listen, but not had a chance to provide feedback yet. Don't worry, Val, that's all right. Casey, we got the manifestation card tonight. So I was just saying about often we let the past and what's happened before come into the future, and what we've got to remember is the past's done, it's already written, it's already gone. We can always rewrite the future. So with this manifestation card tonight, it is saying just that. We can change what's going out there. So with our energy focusing on what we want rather than what we don't want, we can really create that new way of being, and it's a higher vibration. So tonight we're going to be talking about that energy that we bring in from the past, and this will let us free up so that we can clear it and then move on and just have the best time ever. So please, if you're watching the replay, pop in and let me know what you feel about Christmas, whether it fills you with joy or absolute dread. So, like I was saying, for me, when I was married, it was as if the 25th of December was a massive shock to my husband. For some reason, he never knew that that was Christmas Day every single year. And every single year, he'd have things that he just couldn't afford Christmas, so he would never plan for it. He'd never have any money for it. So even if I budgeted for what I needed, I always had this sudden uplift of cost because I had to buy all his presents too. So it was really, really stressful for me. And then when there was times where we didn't have as much money, there was still that expectation that Christmas had to be bought. You know, everything had to be paid for. You still had to have the money to do things. And because there was two of us, I had to have the money to do two lots of things. So there was so much stress, and through years and years of this, it just ended up, it got to the point where, one, I get really angry every year thinking, why the hell can you not remember it's Christmas and do something about it a bit earlier? And then another one was like, I just feel like it's never enjoyable. It's so much stress, so much baggage, never any money to do what I wanted. And this was like the energy I was taking in every single year. And what I was doing was I was getting what I expected. So every year I'd expect to get to about November and I'd be thinking, oh, he's going to tell me he's got no money soon. And I'd be constantly going through this cycle of events. So Christmas for me ended up with this energy that was really low and really heavy, and I never used to enjoy it. So I'd get to the day, and by that point I'd be stressed out, absolutely skinned, and sat there exhausted. So it was not enjoyable, and it's took me a lot of time, even though that isn't what my Christmas looks like anymore, that isn't part of it, the energy was still there. So whether there was money or anything like that, that energy around it was still there. Even though I had money to buy things, I had money to pay for things, I would still not enjoy that build up to Christmas because of that energy that had already built up. Now, you might find that you've got things like that happen from your past, things from being a kid, and you think, oh, Christmas was all about arguments, or, there might have been things where you think, yeah, Christmas always was a stress. I just remember my mum getting dead stressed out. Whatever that was for you, what is your energy around it? Or was Christmas just amazing and you just had the best time? Because there's the positive as well. So what happens is, and I've had to train myself with this, so when we've got this energy around something, and it's not just around Christmas, some people have this around the birthdays, some people have it around other special occasions, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, whatever it is, whatever you have this built up energy about, you can start to bring it in that next year and bring it in that next year, and it becomes a pattern. So I have a friend who hates her birthday, absolutely hates it, hates talking about it, hates the build up to it, absolutely hates it. And it's took me a while to say, like, just enjoy it, like, enjoy that day, but it's a real thing. Val saying, hated Christmas for years into adulthood due to childhood trauma. Yeah. And it really, that type of stuff, it leaves a massive mark, and it leaves that memory, and it leaves that, it makes it go into every single year. So what we've got to start doing is thinking about that expectation we're putting on it. That becomes our mantra. It's like, oh, I don't like Christmas, I don't enjoy Christmas, whatever that is for you. That's a mantra. It's something you say on repeat in your own head probably, but you do repeat it all the time. So we've got to start to think of, what is it we want to create? What do we want Christmas to be like? What do we want to bring in? So what do we want to manifest with it? And think about that new mantra you want. So for me, I want Christmas to be fun. Like, I've been saying that for ages. I just want it to be fun, just want it to be relaxed, really, really chilled. So that is something that I put out there, that I want it to be fun. But what I find is, when this energy is creeping in, when these old thoughts and old mantras are creeping in, I've got to clear them. So the first tip I use on the podcast is how to do that. So when you start to feel yourself getting overwhelmed, when you start to feel yourself getting stressed, and all these old feelings and energy coming in, you go clear, cancel, release, and literally stop them thoughts as they're coming in. Now, you might not be able to do that every time, and that's okay. This takes practice, but let yourself, just once you clock that your vibration's going lower, so you feel that through your energy, through your emotions, or you feel you're getting stressed and overwhelmed, again, you'll feel that through your emotions. As soon as you feel that, you'll register what thoughts have you been thinking. And you could be thinking these stressed thoughts. You could be thinking whatever it is that stresses you. And you need to just clear, cancel, release, let it go, and replace it with your new mantra. Christmas is going to be amazing. Christmas is going to be fun. I'm going to have the money. Whatever it is for you, put that new mantra in place once you've cleared, cancelled, released, and after time you'll see a huge difference, and you're rewriting the future to have an amazing Christmas. So Val saying, I'm okay now, but I hate the thought of struggling families unable to provide presents for their kids. Yeah, when there's others off to Lapland. Yeah, I get that. And it's just a case of, what can you do to help that, I suppose, and, just leaving that thing. So any kind of resentment, any kind of judgment as well, let that go, because, you don't know what them families have been through growing up. So they might have had, tough childhoods, and they think, no, I don't want to bring that into my family's life. So, just give them the love and the grace as well, and just do as much as you can to help any families that maybe need that help, or send love to wherever you can with that one, Val, because it is hard, especially when people don't have at this time of year. So it's about, thinking, well, you want to spread that love for Christmas, you want to give people that that joy, that happiness, and that could be your mantra that you bring in. So really think about when you feel any of these old energies creeping, stopping yourself and clear, cancel, release. Now, the second tip I used on the podcast was around getting creative. So it can be really stressful at Christmas when we've got all these people to buy for. I've got a huge family. I'm sure you've all got big families and people to buy for, friends to buy for. And sometimes we don't have as much as we'd love to have. So don't beat yourself up if that is the case. You know, it's one day and we've made this big energy around we've got to spend, and we've got to, often a lot of people get in a lot of debt and spend a lot of money on things that they can't afford because we put this expectation on it. So start to get creative. Look around your house because abundance is everywhere. So literally there is so much money in this room. You know, there's so much money in whatever room you're sitting in. You've sat with your phone in front of you, probably a laptop. You sat, you know, with all your ornaments, all your if you like me, crystals everywhere, you know, just stuff like that. There is stuff all around us. So we've got to start to look for that abundance. We've got to start to see it and see that it's everywhere. It's literally, it's in your house, it's all around you. Now, when we get creative, think of all the things that you don't use, all them ornaments that you don't use anymore. They may be thinking of clutter, you were maybe thinking of giving it away, all of this stuff. If you've got some nice packaging, if you got some nice wrapping paper, if you just spent a little bit on that and then looked at what you could package up, you could create so many beautiful gifts from things that you probably already have. Or you could make things for people. Often we put that much expectation, we buy them something amazing and then it never gets used or it gets put in a cupboard. And actually it's about that thought, it's about that energy and that love you put into the presents. So get really creative if money isn't flowing easily for you this year. That's okay. Just do something where the thought is there. Do something that's really nice and special for somebody, rather than making it about that expectation to spend a certain amount of money. The other thing is, if money's coming up for you, and this is a good tip for anyone, whether you've got money, whether you don't have money, anyone at all, get creative about how it can come in. We have been so trained to have money from one source all our life. Money has to come from a job. If money doesn't come from a job, it comes from the government. That is all we've been taught, and that is all our brains kind of get addicted to, and it is an addiction. And what happens is it stops money flowing from everywhere else. So literally money can flow from so many places. It is energy, it's all around us, and yet we are so tunnel visioned on where it has to come from. So when you get creative, you can start to write a list of all the crazy places that money could come from. So imagine if you just let yourself play with this for a bit and you just let yourself start to think about where money could actually come to you from. You know, you could win it by watching, you know, a local TV show. You could find it. You could find a coin on the beach or something really random. It could come from so many places. So do this exercise, whether you think you're okay with money, because at the end of the day, we could always have more. So really start to think about, get creative, get a pen and a piece of paper and write down, try and write about 50 ways that money could come to you. Now, it'll be hard at first because, like I've said, we are trained, it's got to come from one way. And often we think if we're getting money, it means somebody else is losing money. It isn't. It's flowing around all of the time. So do that exercise. It's amazing. It'll help you get that creativity and that energy and that imagination going. And what that does, it allows your vibration to lift. It opens up to the universe and says you're ready for more. You're open to it coming in and you're open to seeing it from different places. So it really is a brilliant manifesting technique. And it's a way to just concentrate on something else. So if you're stressing about money, if you're getting down about money, do this exercise, get a pad and a bit of paper out and just start writing all the ways that it could come, and then put it out to the universe and say, I am open for it to come. You show me the ways. You show me how you can bring this money. You know, just, it is so, so powerful without even realizing. And lastly, I talk about these expectations we put on ourselves. So when you think about Christmas, when you think about all this stuff, you might have certain people and you think, well, they're going to spend £25 on me, so I have to spend £25 on them. Or they're buying me this, so I know I've got to buy something similar. And or even to the point where I've got friends, you know, you might have these friends that you're like, do we still buy for? We don't speak as much. I don't know. You get that weird, do we buy, do we not? Do what you want to do this Christmas. If you have a friend who wants to spend £25 on you, that does not mean that you have to match it. If you get them a perfectly nice gift that they're going to love and it costs £10, then that's okay. There's nothing to say that you have to spend the exact amount with someone else. It's just this weird rule that we put on everything. So please, please take the expectation off you. No one is going to think that you are less than or you are not as worthy as someone. We put all of these words around money and these like feelings around it on what it says about our own self-worth. And I do go into this on the podcast because I struggled with this for years, and actually it means nothing at all. Money flows, it comes in ebbs and flows. Sometimes we have lots, sometimes we don't, and everything is temporary. So you've really just got to let that energy flow and stop blocking it with expectations, these negative vibrations, and feeling like it's got to come from certain places. It really does stop it coming in. So they're things that I've done to try and shift my whole outlook on Christmas and shift that feeling that I had built up. So now I go into Christmas, I don't put any expectations on what I have to do at Christmas. There was a big expectation around that we have like a big family Christmas. That doesn't happen for me anymore. I do something different and I choose to do something different, and that's okay. And, you know, they might not like that, but that's my choice and I've took the pressure off that. So imagine that. Do you feel like you have to do what your family does at Christmas? Do you have to do what you're expected of? Because that can put a lot of pressure on. How's this resonating with you both? Please just let me know in the comments. I know it's a bit delayed, but I'll give you a chance to catch up. And I use these analogies around Christmas because this is when it gets tense. This is when it gets, you know, tight for a lot of people, and people get stressed and they're off and they've got time with family. So these flare-ups can come and things can be triggered. So it's really about giving yourself grace, because at the end of the day, this is one day out the year. But this one day out the year is built up into like 6 weeks prep and then a week after with all the afterwards. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure that we've built up and put on ourselves. But these tips could be applied to absolutely any stage that we go through. Anything that you have these expectations and pressures on yourself. So there's no comments coming through, but I'll give you a second just to see if they are, or any questions or anything like that, because it really does come up, especially around the money. And even if we have money, you know, people who have lots of money, they still feel that they don't want to spend too much because they might not have as much left, or there's still all this energy around it. So it really is key to start to understand what is your energy around money, what is your energy around these events, because that's when you can start to control your mind once it flares up and sends you down a different path. Because what we've got to do is catch it so that we can then create the future that we actually want, rather than letting things spiral and then, you know, we end up with the same again next year. Because we can change that. We can rewrite the future. So, you know, whatever you're doing, these thoughts, these work that you're putting into this mindset stuff now is changing you for the future. So yes, it might not have the massive impact that you want for this Christmas, but imagine where you're going to be next Christmas. Really is powerful. So even if you don't see instant results, you are training yourself to create better in the future. I changed Thanksgiving so I can change Christmas to be the best one yet. Yes, Casey, you did loads of work around that. I was so proud of you. Always used to have a party at Christmas. It was so expensive and hard work prepping for it. It stopped because of COVID, but no intention of starting them again. Yeah, I love that, Val. I think COVID's been a massive help to say we don't have to have all of this like societal norms. In a sense, we can do the things that light us up, and that is really, really key. You know, if there's things that you used to do and you haven't done because of COVID, it does not mean that you have to go back to that by any means, shape or form. So I love that one. And it really is about, what is it you want next year to look like? What is it you want to feel like? Hi, Ginger. Yes, you nearly did miss it. So all of these tips, even though they might seem small, these really, really do make huge impacts. And this can be applied to literally anything. So when you find that your mind is going off on a spiral, you've been hard on yourself, you're giving yourself, a tough time over whatever it is, you feel your energy dipping, because our emotions are the best gauge ever. They tell us when something's wrong, and when something's wrong, it's probably because of what we're thinking about. So when you backtrack and you go, right, I'm feeling low, what am I thinking about? That's when you can clear, cancel, release them thoughts, because actually them thoughts are your ego playing up and telling you that the past is going to repeat itself, or things are, you're not doing things good enough, you're not right, whatever it is for you. And you really can clear them thoughts and then put your new mantra in place. So it's a perfect one to think of. What do you want 2022 to look like? What do you want to feel like in 2022? That can become your new mantra. So it doesn't just have to be about Christmas. You can think, right, if you're not feeling confident, or you're feeling like you're not good with money, you're feeling like you're not good with dieting, fitness, health, whatever it is, even mindset work, what is your new mantra going to be? That you are confident, you are healthy, you have so much fun. What is it you want that mantra to be? Think about that. What are you wanting to create in 2022? Casey, have to go, but thanks. No worries, Casey. Yeah, definitely amazing things to remember daily. So even though this has been aimed at Christmas, please don't just use these tips for Christmas. They can be used for absolutely everything. And writing down all them ways that money can come into you is a perfect way to get your imagination going. It's a perfect way to do what the card that we've got this week, which is manifestation. So this really is about shutting everything off from the past and looking at rewriting that future. So what if you had your pen and paper and you were writing the next chapter of your life? What would you start to write? Because that is in your hands, not in anyone else's, not in the past. The past is done. So what are you writing in your future? Because that is where you need to focus, and that's where your energy needs to go. So have a think on that. What is it you want to create going into 2022? Now, I know I've got big dreams, and, I'm massively up-leveling. So think about, what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? Oh, Ginger, I'm so glad you like that message. You'll have to go back and listen, because I did say some stuff earlier. But really, anybody in the replay as well, I'd love to know, what are you going to create in 2022? How amazing is this Christmas going to be? Because we can still make it amazing now. So start to think about that. And just remember, it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's money or confidence or boundaries with family that is dragging you down. You can change it. and you can make it exactly what you want. So take that expectation off yourself. Take the expectation of the money off yourself, because it does not say anything about you. You are not a worse person than anyone because you don't have the money. No one is listening to me here and thinking, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about, when I used to be absolutely skint. So please, please, please do not think it says anything about you as a person. It is always just a temporary thing, and we can rewrite the future. So whatever situation you are in now, it is not forever. If we can start to change things and change our mindset and move forward, we've all got that power in us. So I hope this week helps, and I will catch you next week. But any questions, just pop them in. If anybody wants to get properly set up for 2022, the Manifest Your Magnificent Life course is still available. That one's open all the time. So you can grab it, you can, work through it at your own pace and set yourself up for success. And literally all these things I talk about, they're in there, these mindset techniques, everything, it's in that course. It's how you turn things around. So if you want that, just go to my website, or there's loads of links in this group, but pop it in as well. I'll pop in a comment. But if you have any questions at all, let me know. But please pop in the chat anything that's coming up for you, anything that resonates, whether you're watching the replay, and what you're going to do with this Christmas and how amazing you are going to make it. All right, I will catch you next week. And thank you for joining me live, everyone. I've loved it, and I will see you then. Bye.